Hey, DoorDash had a massive layoff. They had to lay off around 7% of their workforce. That's 1,250 employees. Tony Shu obviously posted on their company blog, named two reasons. Number one was they were understaffed before the pandemic in 2020, and delivery grew. They had to go ahead and overhire, and this is course correction. That was the first reason. And the second reason was uncertainty of the e-commerce business and the looming recession. Right. Our friends at Bbot, which got acquired by DoorDash, almost 70% of their team was laid off, so they got impacted heavily. That's a great team there. Anyone would be lucky to hire those group. Um, and we looked at some research, and we're like, does this mean that the the delivery business is in at risk? And we looked at numbers, and it doesn't seem like it. I'll give you two data, one from DoorDash and one from Uber. Uber reported in September 30 that their platform grew by 27% as demand skyrocketed and beat expectation. So that's Uber's last reporting, right? They grew that quarter 27%. Uh, now, year to then we have Uber. Similarly, in third quarter, Uber said their revenue jumped 72% to 8.34 billion. That obviously is their hailing program and their auto takeout program. But both indicate that this is not a slowdown in delivery. I believe it's still the beginning. More than anything else, this is just a course correction, like all tech companies are course correcting. I think DoorDash has claimed that they're doing well and they're doing fine, and what I think their strategy is to be the everything store. They are doing reservations now. They are doing merchant benefits for restaurant employees. They're doing national shipping. They're doing reviews. They're doing restaurant financing, right? If you're a restaurateur, you can go ahead and take money from them. They're the bank now, and you can pay them interest. DoorDash is evolving into an end-to-end platform for the restaurant industry. It doesn't seem like there's a slowdown in what they're building, but they just had this layoff. I think the team also doubled when they bought a company recently. I think it was Walt. Is it Walt or Yalt? Do you guys remember? I think I have it somewhere in my notes.
Might be Walt.
They bought a company out of Europe that doubled their size. So there's also they claimed that there's a lot of redundancies as well. So why they had to go ahead and do this layoff. But obviously DoorDash is one of the biggest company in food tech, if not the biggest. And I just wanted to bring this up as a topic for us to all chat through and see what you guys wanted to add, whether it may be on the reduction, whether it may be all the end-to-end features they're launching.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing is something we're seeing consistently in the industry.
Mhm.
Seems like no company is not affected by this. Sounds like there's also, I think, the parts about course correction. There's a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of context that's been provided here, and I think that the main thing is that how companies go and you think about product roadmaps and how they go and execute on those things, like given all these different changes. I think that's going to be important to see. So it's tough to make a call like immediately about it, but I think just time will show.
Mhm. By the way, just
Yeah.
to just to educate everyone, they are the largest of the three food delivery system. They have 59% of the market. Uber has 27, and Grubhub has 13. So those are the big threes.
Yeah. First of all, I think it's super impressive that Uber is not doing a reduction.
Yeah.
Well, obviously because their revenue grew, but good planning on their part. I don't know how they did it. Hats off to them. I think they're one of the few that might not be doing a reduction as we head towards a downturn, or in the downturn already. Actually,
Hmm.
we should stop saying heading towards anything anymore. um,
Hmm.
but it's really interesting. I see the empirical evidence that DoorDash is saying that their system is growing, that demand is growing, but at the same time at Lunchbox, I'm seeing pickup orders being higher than delivery orders. So is it growing for all segments equally? Like, is it growing for all households equally? Because some people just might order pickup because it's cheaper. Like those
Hmm.
delivery fees are not cheap, like that, and then you have to tip somebody, which we just got into, right? So like, I don't know. Like they say it's growing, but everything from we're seeing in sentiment of like, well, people actually want to buy. Maybe they're talking about a different segment, but
Hmm.
I'm a little skeptical, I guess.
Mhm.
Is it growing? Do people want to pay more when a time when they have less?
Mhm.
I'm actually surprised that they didn't do it sooner. I
Yeah,
know that the acquisition
100%.
of like Bbot was, some time ago, so it's not like it
A
was
year ago.
recent. Yeah, so it's not like it was recent. So I'm really surprised that they waited this long. I think every company is like, do we do it? Do we not do it? Like, do we do it now? And so I'm really surprised that they, you know, like I think everyone said here, like every company's going through it. Every
Mhm.
company's going through something like that. I'm honestly just surprised that they, waited this long.
For any trolls in the comments who will remind me that I had to do or we had to do a layoff in July, we did. But I think we were ahead of it. I think we did it before it became a reality or before Elon went and fired half of Twitter, which gave courage and kahunas to founders in Silicon Valley to go ahead and clean up their house as well. Um, so thank you. You don't have to mention it. We're aware. Um, I think an important conversation I'll leave us with is um, what happens to the culture after you do something like that. We have experienced that at a small scale. It might be really old news now. We're smaller, we're stronger, we're better than ever. We've come together. We've had an offsite since. We've done a lot of things to bring people together. But what do you guys think they're experiencing as an organization? Because this is
I
a
think
a big layoff.
I think I mean, personally, right? Like I've reached out to a lot of founders. I'm sure you did. You reached out to some of your peers before doing this, right? So you had to learn, like, hey, what is normal? What does normal look like? Things are crazy. What does normal look like? And they're like, hey, this is what we're thinking. This is what normal looks like now. More from less, right? And now, if you go on blind and if you read it, like employees are reaching out to each other across the aisle in different companies. They're like, hey, what's your normal? They're like, oh, this is our normal. Like, oh, that seems very similar, right? And they're starting to draw similarities of like, hey, this is how it's going to be. Like, PIP culture will be, performance improvement plans will be a little bit more enforced because they're seeing it happen to their peers at companies. So I think just like we found a new normal as founders or people that run companies, right? It's I think we're going to see the same thing in employees. I think that they're going to self-correct and self-regulate through communities and tell each other what the new normals are. And people are going to be like, oh, okay, you know what? Compared to everybody else, I don't have it so bad anymore. You know, I think that's going to adjust hopefully adjust some of um, the work that people do.
Yeah, I think it's definitely difficult. It's really really hard. And I think one of the things that we just I think at least for employees that I'm speaking with, they realize that it's happening everywhere. It's not like it's a company specific issue. So I think once they realize that, and they realize that it's the market, that they feel a little, okay, things are gonna get better. Things are gonna be okay. Um, and so I think the other thing that's really important is continuously motivating, your employees, and just saying, hey, um, look at the opportunity. Like, this really hard decision that we had to do, but there is still a lot of opportunity here, and show them how.
The lesson I learned this year is you don't have to be the most liked person in your company. That is not the role of the CEO or the founders or the management team. Your job is to go ahead and help as many people as possible. That is the people that work for you, and those are the people that are in the restaurant industry. Your job is to help as many as possible. And what is not possible is to go ahead and help everyone, to bring everyone. And that is a really hard thing to swallow for me. It was hard to do what we did in July. It's hard to watch this happen at DoorDash. It's really hard to do this, but not doing this is worse for the industry, worse for the restaurant industry. And Lunchbox, our mission is to be a first mover. So I give us kudos to do what we did in July. So we don't have to go ahead and do this during the holidays. And I'm really excited for the restaurant industry that we are alive and we keep performing. But that's what I learned, which is, like you're not going to be everyone's first invite to their wedding, and that's okay, right? You need to go ahead and do something much harder, which is do the hard things, even when folks don't see it. I think that's the point of being a leader, not to just go ahead and coddle people and protect people from bad news. Because when you're protecting people from bad news and overdoing it, what you're not protecting them is from reality. And reality is saying, hey, you're not actually performing really well, and I think we're going to do something. Why don't I start helping you look at somewhere else? I think that is being a great leader. I think that is hard work. That is uncomfortable, and that's a lesson learned. So yeah,